Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest EP, actually the first ever EP being released by Ihsahn, Telemark, out February 14th on Spinefarm Records. This EP has 5 tracks, 25 minutes in length, and this is going to be the first of 2 coming out, the second also having 5 tracks. In these 5 tracks you're going to get 3 brand new songs and you're going to get 2 covers, one of Lenny Kravitz and one of Iron Maiden. The title of the EP, Telemark, is the name of the county in which he was born. He actually still lives there. So you're going to find a very deep connection, emotionally, spiritually, and even culturally, I would go as far as to say that, with the music on this release. It's almost a documentary, if you will. It really shows the roots of him as a person and as a musician, where he's coming from and where he is right now. So this EP, while short as far as the songs in it, 5, 3 new, 2 covers, it really paints a picture of his origins, of the origins of his sound, of the origins of him as a human being, and like I said, as a musician. Musically, I felt it really pulled from those roots, it really pulled from his black metal background, but it also, the inclusion of jazz elements into it allows the sound to really be expanded, sometimes being very stripped, very raw to the core as far as black metal is concerned, and sometimes being a little bit more flourished, having a lot of different elements at play, and really expanding on that sound, really showing you that a genre is not necessarily held down by boundaries. To me, this release is really proof of that within a genre you can really go in a lot of different ways, and you can really expand on your sound. And then when you include a lot of your cultural experiences, a lot of your emotional and psychological experiences into it, then sky is the limit. You can almost go anywhere you want within your sound and really create something fresh, something new, and something unique. And I really feel like that's what you're going to get from this release. The 3 original tracks are in Norwegian, and I think that adds, I don't think actually, that definitely adds a different side to it. It really allows you to connect better with the musician, and allows him to connect better with the stories that he's telling you, with the message, but with himself. I think if this is something that's done in English, it perhaps loses a little bit, it loses that deeper connection that you have with your own roots, with your own background. When it's in your native language, it allows you to better express yourself, it allows you to go in a much deeper sense, it really go under the skin and really dig deep and be able to bring out all of those emotions that you have buried in there, and feel more free in the way you express them. So I really feel that this EP, being in Norwegian, really allowed him to go in a much darker path, go into much deeper roots, and really have that then come out on this release. Overall, this EP is very refreshing in its sound and the lyrics and the overall approach, and how you blend these brand new tracks with 2 magnificent covers. Both covers are really well put together. So to me, this is a very refreshing EP, really exciting, and it really opens the door to what the second EP is going to be like. It's almost like he's breaking a full-length release into 2 separate releases. So this one left me salivating, left me wanting for more, because it was so unique in its overall approach and its overall structure, its overall sound, the Norwegian aspect to it, the really cultural aspect, because I don't think you can deny the cultural aspect of this EP. So all of these things to me were very refreshing and allowed me to feel a deeper connection with the artist, and I think that's what he had in mind when he put this together. As far as the tracks are concerned, let's go quickly through all 5 tracks on this release. The first is Stridig, and that's this song is a perfect way to get started, because in my opinion it really starts off very mellow, and then the darkness progresses as the song progresses. It almost feels like the opening to a thriller movie, or at least a scene out of a thriller movie. So it's the perfect opening from a song structure perspective, but also from a sound perspective. It just becomes more intense, more aggressive, more dynamic as it moves along. Also, as the vocals come in, you can feel the aggression and intensity really builds up. It starts to really pick up. There's a really somber middle bridge in this song that's absolutely beautiful. The guitar melody has a very stripped down effect, and that adds a lot of darkness to it. It becomes even darker when he uses backing vocals, not as the main vocals in the forefront, but almost just very dissipated in the far reaches of his universe, of his musical universe. And I really like that. It added darkness to that guitar riff, to that beautiful melody on that guitar riff. So I really like that. What it comes after that is a resurrection of the track. The track goes through this huge dip, and then it resurrects. It comes back to how it started, and then it finishes by going back to how the song originally started, with a very mellow opening, then becoming more darker and aggressive. So the song kind of goes full circle. There's a birth, there's a growth, there's a flat lining, if you will, and then there's a decline at the end. Almost the example of life. As we're born, we grow, we're older, and then we start to get much older until the point we die. So this song has pretty much the dynamic of life built into its structure, and I really enjoyed it, and this to me was the perfect track to open up the EP with. Next is Nord. The darkness in this song to me is really representative of Norway and Norwegian black metal, and I think he looked at that when he put this song together, giving it his own twist, his own feeling, his own way of looking at black metal. I think this is truly represented in this song, in its sound, in its structure, and how it comes across to the audience. The jazz elements in this song become a lot more noticeable than they were in the previous one, but they don't necessarily add light to the darkness. They still make the song feel even darker, feel more menacing, and that to me is something that he uses extremely well throughout the EP in order to add melody, but to add a dark melody to his songs. This one is a perfect example. This track has a much different structure. There's a clear divide between verses and chorus, creating a very dynamic fluidity between the two. There's always this up and down feel that you're going to get throughout this whole track, but very interesting track overall. Next, Telemark, which is the name of the EP. Great instrumental opening. This song has a great opening melody to it. It has almost prog elements mixed in with black metal elements, and that was something that I thought it made the sound very rich. It just gave a lot of texture to the sound. It made it very rich, made it very, very pompous. So that was really a cool way to get this track underway. There's also some folk melody elements mixed into the mix. And that to me is the cultural aspect of this song. This song perhaps is the one that really represents his birth, not only as a person but as an artist. So including a lot of those elements that in my opinion really felt folky at times, added a different feel to the song, added a different vibe to the song. It allowed you to connect to the artist and to his roots. This is a magnificent song, the longest song on the EP, but a song that never feels long while it is, because you kind of get lost to it. You really feel like you're in the middle of the story here. A story is being told. There's aggressiveness, there's intensity within the track. There's a little bit of a merger of the two, specifically when the vocals come in. This is a song that has a lot more melody, but once the vocals come in, the aggression and the intensity really picks up. And then while the vocals are present, that intensity and aggression is always present. It really has a sense of a documentary, the way this track is put together, because it has a cinematic vibe to it. So it feels like a movie, feels like a mini movie, if you will, within the overall big picture of the EP. Next is Rock and Roll is Dead, which is a Lenny Kravitz cover. I'm sure everybody is aware of that song. I like this cover. I don't like necessarily this one more than Wrathchild. Wrathchild is the cover from Iron Maiden, which is the last track on the EP. But Rock and Roll is Dead was very interesting cover, very interesting song to pick. And I believe that the interesting aspect is not just how he covered the original, but the song, the choice of the song itself. Rock and roll is not dead, everybody knows that, but picking this song and giving it a black metal spin to it worked extremely well, and perhaps there's a hidden message in why this song was chosen, and I really believe the title of the song and the overall message of the song really plays into it. But I really like this cover. To me, he created a song that's still very close to the original. It just feels more blackened, but it has a lot of his own fingerprints obviously in it. It has a lot of his own DNA in it, but it's still very close to the original. I really enjoy this cover. As I said, Wrathchild, the Iron Maiden cover, that's the last track on the EP. This to me, out of the two covers, is the one that I enjoy the most, because to me, he took a song and he made it 100% his own. This felt like a song that he could have released on any of his albums, and if you didn't know about the original, you would think that this is his original work. So I really like this cover. I really like the impact that it has. I love how heavy it is, how dark it is, how menacing it is, how well the vocals work on this track with the lyrics of the track. It really surprised me, but the harsher vocals really played a huge role on how this song comes across to the listener and how impactful it is. Alright guys, this is it. This is the EP Telemark, out February 14. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. As always, I'll be reading them and getting back to you. Take care, guys.